Welcome to the Marriage Podcast for Smart People. As you
We
have
haven't
known it
said
to
that in a
date,
long time.
we have not. This is our 280th episode, and we're thankful that you've joined us again today. And our plan for today is to talk about three things. Number one, where we've been since 2020 when we last published an episode and what's been going on. Number two is where we're at presently. And number three is what is coming up next in season two, a rebrand, a new name for the podcast, and a lot of the great content that you're already used to. Without further ado, we're going to skip our usual intro roll because we are changing a lot of things right now, and we'll get to all that. But Verlynda, let's start in with this topic for
Yeah,
where we've been since 2020. What are the biggest
life has
pieces?
changed. Yeah,
Yes.
big pieces. In your life is one of the big ones that played a major part.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we should tell folks too that we're recording this about 5 years since we last recorded. So if you're
Yes.
listening to it sometime in the future, that's the gap between episode 279 and episode 280.
Yeah.
So yeah, the biggest thing for me, 2020 was that second year of COVID. Am I right?
March
Or
2020 it
was it
started, or
March
our
2020
country
it
shut
started?
down. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we started getting into the thick of it. We were getting pretty burnt out on podcasting at the time because we'd done a weekly show for quite a while, and that had been pretty intense for us. Kept up a pace on that. I think we were doing like a little more sophisticated, a little more complex episodes too, which was cool
Yeah,
and
more
challenging.
research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd also been like hammering away at starting this business, our counseling business at that point for 6 years, and had been counseling for 2020. That'd be about 10, 11 years at that point myself, doing some mixed vocational stuff, of course, in there. But I also had a huge bout of burnout, compassion fatigue as a
Mhm.
therapist. So that was a big thing that was going on. And I think it was 2020. Was it that summer or the next summer where I actually tapped out for a while? Do you
I
remember
think
that?
it was that summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So initially I thought I was depressed. So I called up a therapist and said, I think I need help for this. And she said, I think you have that, which was the compassion fatigue. And that's what we went with and worked on that. And I just remember the first 2 weeks of the vacation that we took shortly after that, especially that first week, I was sleeping 12 to 14 hours a day. So I'd have 2 or 3
Mhm.
naps a day. And then I'd go down for a 8, 9, 10, 11 hour night. And I just wasn't paying attention to how absolutely exhausted my body was. Yeah, that was a huge thing for us. And fortunately, had other people to keep the business going. And you filled in a bit there, Verlyn, on the business side too. We had a great administrator, Vivian at the time, who was helping us. And I started coming back into the business in the fall. And then I don't think I really started counseling until late 2020 or the start of the next year, really. So seeing clients again. So tried to really take the recovery seriously, get back on my feet and that kind of stuff because it is a career that means a lot to me and I wanted to stay in it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then during this time, like we had three teenagers in the house.
Yeah.
We were in that stage of beginning to launch them, and it just took a lot of energy.
Ton of energy, yeah.
Yeah, different
Just the
situations
things
and
families do of running to all those games and
yes, kids in sports.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
pretty heavily involved in church at the time.
yeah.
There was a
So
lot of
something had
stress just around
sorry.
COVID
Yeah,
too.
yeah, something had
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the counseling agency took off during
Yeah.
COVID because we were
Yeah.
online already,
Yeah.
and yeah, away the business went, and then I went back to school.
Yeah.
Beginning of 2021, I went back to school to get my marriage and family therapy.
Yeah.
My master's in marriage and family therapy is the official name. Loved it, loved every minute of it, loved the
Yeah.
learning, just felt like a different person coming out of it. Like it was such an amazing experience and such a privilege to be able to do that, to be at a stage where I could go back to school. And now getting to do the work that I get to do, it's such a privilege and it's so
Yeah.
exciting. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
my
that
new career,
yeah.
my new stage of life.
Yeah, that was huge. And we're super thankful for all the awesome people that kind of pointed you in that direction too. And also the
Mhm.
ones that supported us through that journey, putting one member of your family as adults back through school full time was a huge commitment on everybody's part. And our kids
Yes,
chipped into
our
that
kids.
hugely, did extra like
Yeah,
chores, and everybody
yeah.
got in on there. So that was really cool. And the other thing that was really a blessing to us, but also part of the burnout and the busyness and not getting the podcast done was we were doing online therapy when it wasn't cool to do it, which was before the
Yes.
pandemic. And when the pandemic hit, we were like ready to go. And so there was a huge demand from clients. And then there was also counselors coming to us, not sure of the technology and how to pivot. And we were all set up. We had the systems in place. We had the procedures to know how to do it. And so there was quite a bit of rapid growth during the pandemic for our
Yeah.
business. But all of that onboarding and growth, that was a lot of work as well, too. So yeah, that's what's
Yeah.
been going on there.
Yeah. And can I make
Anything
a
else
note
on
on
the
that
past
though,
part?
Caleb?
Yeah.
We're going into the current here because I'm talking about the current, but like the team that we have, yes, there was rapid growth, but the team that we have is
Hmm.
such a beautiful group of people. I am proud to say that that I get to work with them. So
Yeah.
it's pretty neat, the
Yeah.
people that are
Mhm.
on our team.
Yeah. We do love our team.
Yeah.
And they're amazing people for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that all doesn't come across like a bunch of here's why we didn't get our work done stuff, but just to let you know, like sometimes you forget, like on the other sides of shows that we watch or even like TV, like there's real humans on the other side of that stuff. And we're those real humans for this podcast. And life got too busy. And I just personally, like, I just lost the drive and the energy with that burnout to get this podcast done. So that was one thing that sacrificed. So many of you have reached out and said, "Hey, where are you guys? I hope you come back."
Hmm.
And we thank you for all that love and we thank you for all the well wishes. I wrote quite a few of you back just saying, "Hey, I'm burnt out. I'm so sorry." And you were very gracious about it. So for everybody that was just like sweet about that, thank you. You guys are much appreciated. Yeah,
Yes, for
that was
sure.
very special.
Yeah.
Current affairs, Verlinda.
Current affairs, we are rebranding. So you can
Yes.
see on Caleb's shirt right there, possibly if you're
On
watching
video.
versus
Yes.
listening. We have a new name. We are
Hmm.
now Therapevo Counseling. So we were finding that we
Sorry, Verlinda.
really,
Just describe the logo for our audio listeners
oh,
that are
yeah.
on a podcast. Yeah.
So our logo, it's like very simple, but it's like a phoenix
Yeah.
rising from the ashes. And
Yeah.
therapevo, the word in Greek is healing, or
Yeah.
it's Greek for healing. And so that's really like the oomph. The
Yeah.
basis of our business is like how our clients can rise from the ashes of what they've been through with such resiliency and healing.
Hmm.
And it's a beautiful thing. So why we're rebranding? Why are we rebranding, Caleb?
Why were Yeah, great questions. In growing the team, I think it was last summer we had about 18 people on our counseling team or so. It was somewhere around that number, Verlinda. And one of the things that I noticed that we have members of our team that had really cool specialties and they just didn't resonate as well with a marriage site. And I think the one that I picked because it makes it the most obvious is we had 4 or 5 people who just love to work with teenagers, amazing therapists for adolescents. They could connect with adolescents really well, lead them through like amazing change out of very difficult circumstances or trauma that they'd experienced, whatever it had been. But then it's like really weird for a teenager to go to onlyyouforever.com with the slogan, "Will we help you build a thriving, passionate marriage," and sign up for
Yes.
therapy. So as our team got bigger and stronger and more diverse in that sense, I wanted a brand that could support all these niches that our therapists love to work in. And I know
Mhm.
for you, Verlinda, coming on the team as well, that was a huge motivating factor because you love working with teenagers.
Yes.
And like I said, that's the obvious one. It's not that we're being inundated with teenagers, but you can imagine like we get single people coming for help on various topics.
Yeah.
And even things like we have someone who specializes in blended families now. We have someone who specializes in like perinatal, postnatal trauma. We have other people on grief and like, when
Yeah.
your world is wrecked by someone you love passing away, it's a little dissonant for sure going to a marriage website. So that's why we're rebranding. We also like as we develop this podcast, and if you guys have listened to us from the start in our early episodes, like we were trying digital products, we were trying a few shipping, like we shipped those betrayal booklets for a while, different things like this. And our business model has really clarified itself over the last few years. And our main thing that we do is counseling over
Yeah.
Zoom video call, offering that to people all over North America with therapists in almost every time zone. We still need an Atlantic therapist. And that's our main thing. And then our secondary thing is the cruise as far as products that we sell. And then we
Yeah.
do still have our communications course and we do still sell a few of those booklets, a digital version of them every month, the betrayal devotionals. So that's cool too. But we needed a brand that was really focused mainly on that counseling. And I'm not sure if we're going to put the cruise onto that site or just leave it on its own site still, but that's how things are evolving. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we just had
Yeah.
I
I
think it
think it
was
was
our
our
5th
fifth.
marriage cruise.
Hmm.
And again, like it was a beautiful time. It was a little bit smaller this time, but the couples that came were They were ready to learn, they were ready to work, they were making connections.
Hmm.
And it's just so cool to see the light bulb go off or see the
Yeah.
connection made and the bonding. And so that's
Yeah.
such a privilege to be able to do as well.
Yeah. And we just consistently get 5-star reviews from people on that and great feedback on how it has been a blessing to their marriage. And there's so much energy and excitement that they leave the
Yeah.
cruise with.
Yeah.
So we love to do that. So, yeah. Does that cover what's happening right now? So I should maybe just say, like, at this moment, today we're recording this at the end of February in 2025, and we're about 3 weeks out from launching our new website at
Hmm.
therapavo.com. Onlyyouforever.com is going to be retired, and all of that stuff is going to be forwarded. All that great content is going to be put on therapavo.com, and all those old links that are out there will all have forwarding, like 301 redirects, they're called, attached to them. So everything kind of moves to the new site that way.
Okay.
So that's where that's at. And we're just in the throes of getting all that set up right now. So the design
Mm.
is done. It's a beautiful website, stunning design, very classy, friendly, but elegant. And I'm really looking forward to having that up and being able to announce that in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Mid-March, I hope. Yeah.
We're already wearing the shirts. We're waiting for that
Yes.
website.
Yes. We got the merchandise for the staff for Christmas. So then let's talk about what's next for Linda. And I'm just keeping an eye on the clock here too. So for season 2 of this podcast, I think the big thing that folks should be aware of is just watching for that in your favorite cast listening app, Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever you're using, Google Play, that kind of stuff. We're changing the name to Normalized Therapy. So you're going to see that come
Hmm.
out. There's going to be a different logo. So the old infinity loop with the heart, we love that. It's got a little dated now. So you're going to see the new logo with the Phoenix on there.
Hmm.
And we're going to start with some of those marriage related topics, but because our clinic is getting more diverse and so on, we hope to bring in some of these other topics as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
for sure. Just everything's counseling related.
Yeah. And even possibly having more interviews. It might be less frequent, but hopefully more
Hmm.
consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So we're
for
trying to
those of
get
you,
back in at a pace we can sustain.
yeah. Yeah. And for those of you who supported us so faithfully on Patreon, thank you for that. We are going to be retiring that.
Yeah.
What else are we doing with this, Caleb?
I think the tone is going to evolve a little bit because in the first season of this
Mm.
podcast, as the marriage podcast for smart people, I was the guy with the marriage and family therapy masters, right?
Hmm.
And you were like bringing that down to everyday language, making it
Yes.
accessible to the people. And that was our vibe. And I
I
think we
think
still
some
want
people
to,
called it the expert and the normal person,
the
I
normal
think is how
person.
some people put it.
I resented the implication of identifying you as the normal person.
I
So
thought
I
it
have
was great.
concerns. I have concerns about that. But it's going to shift a little bit in that we're both professionals. And I've just been amazed to see you coming through your master's degree, getting that education under your belt, and like how much richness you bring to the table, to the discussions now. It's going to shift the quality. I think the quality of our podcast content is going to go even higher. It's going to be amazing.
Thanks for saying that. I think I'm going to struggle a little bit with, no, we're equal as people, but I still look at you as the expert in the room with the experience that you have and the work that you've done. I might still just try and make it normal ish.
Normal. Yeah.
I
I don't
don't
think
know.
anybody is going to mind it being made normal. And I can understand the experience thing. And I'm expecting that as we go, it'll probably shift a bit too. You get that 1,000
Right.
counseling hours, like client hours under your belt. And there's just, you begin to feel really comfortable in your authority on topics, right?
And again, topics might make a difference too, whether
Yeah.
what we have
Like there's some
experience
stuff already that we've identified that you're a lot stronger on than I am because they're interests of yours and you've
and
studied
vice
them.
versa. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. The other thing we're going to be doing and hoping to do is uploading to YouTube. So we'll have a YouTube channel set up. We haven't done that yet.
No, video's scary.
A little scary. This is our first test recording of that format today. So we'll see how
Yeah.
that goes. We'll continue to publish an audio only version for all you faithful podcast listeners out there. And then our goal too is to really continue with that same high quality content that is
Hmm.
research
Yes.
and education based and backed. So there's just a lot of people out there giving their opinions on how you should do life. And we have always had this conviction of bringing that truth out of what people have discovered through studying creation, studying how people interact with the world around them and with each other.
Yes.
So we want to keep that going as well. We're working a little bit for Linda, or going to be doing man, I have a reluctance to say I'm doing things before I'm doing them, but maybe it's good for me to put this out there. They
What
say
are
if you
we
say
thinking of
your
doing?
goals out loud, we're going to expand our social media output just to be a little more consistent out there.
Oh, we
Yeah.
have not been great with social media.
No, we have not.
We've struggled.
We suck in that we are happy to scroll on it, but we don't actually put useful content on it
Yes.
consistently. So we need
Yes.
to be held accountable for that. So that's going to be going on. And then we also have a lovely lady who's just started writing for us. And she's going to be doing just some blog content. So there'll just be some
Yeah.
articles that we've wanted to have up for a long time about various things. I think she's doing a psych degree. I think she's working on that right now, if I remember correctly.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So yeah, we're happy about that. And so that's where we're going. What's coming next as far as we can see from where we're at right now. So that's all God willing. We'll see how that
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah.
And we just like to invite folks. Sorry, Verlynda, were you going to come in there?
I was just going to say, like, coming up is the next marriage cruise. Like, we're currently selling Marriage Cruise 2026.
Yes.
So that's exciting.
We have a group room set aside. We've already had a booking on that. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, crews are selling out way faster than they used to.
Yeah,
So
since
if
the
you'd like to
pandemic.
join us, you can't wait to figure out your cruise holidays for February in like November or December or January
Mhm.
like you used to. You have to get that puppy locked in long before that. Definitely reach out. Check out our website, christianmarriagecruise.com. And of course, if we can help you with counseling, you can get us on our website right now at onlyyouforever.com. If this rebranding has happened and you're listening to this sometime in March, it'll automatically forward you to our new therapevo.com website.
Mhm.
So that'll work great too. But we would love to help you. We have amazing therapists who currently have some availability, and we can get you set up with someone who is just the right fit for the particular set of issues that you want to talk about.
And I should say, I'm excited to be back. I have great memories of the podcast. So I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's
I
amazing.
guess we're wrapping this part up. So maybe this one should be sad, but I'm excited.
It's a transition, right?
Yes. Yes. It's a
Transition.
journey.
It is. So let's close just like with a huge thank you to all of you that have listened. I know some of you listened to all of our episodes. I apologize for the brain damage and all of the other effects that has caused. But thank you for being faithful listeners. And if you're a sucker for punishment, we have more coming.
There we go.
Or if you just enjoy good content, I should say, we have more coming.
Yes.
Is that better, Verlynda?
Good content with good people. There we go.
Now I decided to outsource my marketing.
All righty.
All right, everyone. That's all for today. Thank you. And we'll see you in the next episode.